Persia, 2,500 years ago, an empire of desert and rock, yet the center of the world. The caravans came from every direction, their destination Persepolis, heart of an empire spanning thousands of kilometers, from the Indus to the Mediterranean, from the Libyan desert to the steppes of Central Asia. The Persian Empire was 10 times the size of modern Germany. In Persepolis, King Darius held sway. He sat on a throne of gold. A king who saw all and knew all. An infallible ruler.
Das Persische Reich ist ein Vielvölkerstaat. Und in vielen Punkten kann man sagen, ist das Persische Reich Vorgänger und Vorbild für das Imperium Romanum.
The whole known world paid tribute to this empire. Ancient images tell the story. They came by sea in ships from Greece, from Egypt. From distant India they brought treasure by the cartload. Elephants, camels and oxen carried their country's treasures on their backs. All with a single goal, to glorify the rule of the greatest king of all time. At this time, the desert became a treasure house, a flowering garden. And the sophistication of the king's palace, gleaming in all the colors of the rainbow, brought together all the know-how of the ancient world. Persepolis was regarded as the 8th wonder of the world. As new computer modeling demonstrates, it was an architectural masterpiece. Persepolis was built on an artificial terrace 125,000 meters square that rose up to 18 meters above the plain. It was a palace the size of a city. In the center was the throne hall, the largest interior space of its time. Craftsmen from all over the world worked on it for 4 generations. A ruler's dream made stone. Today, only ruins remain. There's not much for the tutelary gods on the palace portal to watch over. The exquisite lotus flowers on the mighty columns are among the few reminders that this palace was created for eternity. Looking down, the symbol of the city's former might, the bull of Persepolis. Monumental terraced outdoor staircases bordered by finely engraved stone reliefs, all work of unequaled craftsmen. Gigantic columns, 20 meters high, at that time an unbelievable height. Palace gates that seem to have been built for titans, fascinating figures that tell of a long-lost world.
Persepolis war unter den Residenzen des Großkönigs die herausragende. Sie stellt eine Verbindung dar von Palastanlage und administrativem Zentrum. Immer dort, wo sich der König aufhielt, war auch das Zentrum des Reiches.
But in spite of the empire's size and strength, it had an adversary that would seal its doom. Persia's nemesis was a small empire, 100 times smaller than Persia. Macedon. In Pella, capital of this empire, a child was born who would change everything. He was born here in the shadow of the mountains, Alexander, later called the Great. It was he who would challenge the mighty King Darius. His teacher was Aristotle, the ancient world's leading philosopher. From him, the little prince learned to think logically, the power of words, and the fundamentals of politics. Alexander turned his teacher's words into deeds, and he never forgot what Aristotle told him of Persia's immeasurable wealth. Gold abounds like sand in the treasure houses of Persepolis. Gold that should be taken to avenge what the Persians once did. 150 years before, the Persians had destroyed the Acropolis in Athens. The destruction of the pride of Greece was a punishment for the Greeks refusing to submit to the Persian yoke.
Die Perserkönige haben den griechischen Städten in ihrem Machtbereich Frieden garantiert und Wohlstand garantiert. Aber sie haben ihnen die politische Selbstständigkeit genommen, vor allem das Recht, Krieg zu führen auf eigene Rechnung. Das sind Dinge, die die Griechen selber in ihrem Selbstbewusstsein gekränkt haben. Sie wollten frei sein.
Alexander felt called to make this dream of freedom come true. Early on, he learned how to win. He didn't have much time. He would die young. But in his short life, he achieved more than any other commander before him.
Alexander besaß eine ungewöhnliche Energie, war in der Lage, selbst gesteckte Ziele unter größten Schwierigkeiten zu verwirklichen und war darüber hinaus jemand, der durch ein unglaubliches Charisma herausstach. Sonst wäre es ihm nicht möglich gewesen, so viele Leute anzuziehen, die ihm auch bedingungslos gefolgt sind.
Alexander was 20 when he inherited the crown. Now nothing could stop him. Destiny was calling. He was convinced the gods were with him. In 334 BC, he began an astonishing venture. With 30,000 men, he invaded Persian territory. His goal, to conquer the whole world. Alexander's men would change the world forever and redraw the geopolitical map. At Troy, Alexander crossed the Hellespont into Asia. Although young, Alexander was a brilliant strategist. First, he wanted to occupy the ports of Asia Minor so that the powerful Persian fleet could not use them to attack his homeland. Issus, an important Persian port city, has long been a mystery. Its location was forgotten for 2,000 years. Only recently, an international team led by an American, Marie Henriette Gates, pinpointed the site of the city. Professor Gates is certain this is the place where Alexander and Darius met for the first time. On this spot, the collapse of Persian power began.
It was certainly the site of Issus, large enough with its harbor to house the fleet of Cyrus the Great before his naval invasion of Greece.
A paradox of history. Researchers are sure it was from Issus that the Persian fleet sailed to conquer Athens 2,500 years ago. A victory that ultimately gave Alexander the desire to retaliate.